My girlfriend wanted an open relationship. So I watched her drift away, found comfort in her best friend and took control of my own happiness. Hey Reddit, I never thought I'd post about relationships, but I need to vent and maybe get some help. At 28 male, I thought my relationship with Sophie 27 female was secure until recently. After 3 years dating and 2 years living together, everything was great. Like I was covertly checking for engagement diamonds on my lunch break. Super normal story. Common friends introduced us at a board game night. She smiled at my stupid jokes, I enjoyed her Monopoly competitiveness, and we clicked. After dating for a year, it was natural to share an apartment as we were always at each other's houses. Our routines, you know. Sunday morning pancakes, park walks after work, watching her favorite dreadful reality shows while I play phone games, normal couple stuff. Sophie is a marketer, I handle building projects. Our families get along, we have wonderful careers and friends. My mom adores her. Her dad regularly invites me to football games. We were that couple that gave others hope in relationships. Yeah. It sounds familiar now. Everything was normal until Tuesday. Dinner was served. Sophie was talking about a work project while I was eating my sandwich when she said, "Hey, what would you think about trying an open relationship?" I froze mid-bite, fork halfway to mouth. I assumed I misheard her, but she kept talking. She told me she had been reading about it online, that many couples were trying it and that it may help us grow and strengthen our relationship. I asked, "Is there someone specific you want to date?" Because that was my initial instinct. Open relationships are only discussed when someone has someone in mind, right? Sophie became defensive. No, it's not about anyone else. I just think it would be good for us to explore ourselves more. We're still young and I don't want us to wake up in 10 years wondering what we missed out on. Sitting there, I tried to understand what was happening. When a waitress smiled too much at me, this girl became upset. Her new dating advice is like proposing we try a different restaurant. I asked, "Have you been feeling unhappy?" In case I missed something, maybe I should have noticed indications. "Not at all," she answered, taking my hand across the table. "I love you. I love us. This isn't about being unhappy, it's about making our relationship even better. Think about it, we could both have new experiences but still come home to each other. Lots of couples say it makes their connection stronger." Not knowing what to say. My thinking froze between confusion and panic. My appetite was gone, the food in front of me could have been cardboard. Sophie, however, spoke animatedly, almost glowing. She kept talking about norms, boundaries, communication. But I kept thinking, where is this coming from? However, yes. I said okay. I realized this sounds weak. Not because I wanted to. Not because I believed. But her desire in her eyes and the way she leaned in, virtually screaming for my approval, showed she had already decided. Saying no was like closing a door she didn't want to. "Are you sure you're okay with this?" She questioned, wide-eyed and anxious, like she was offering me a choice. "We don't have to if you're not comfortable." I saw her desperate for my approval. I knew this wasn't a decision in the back of my head. Something was changing between us, like it or not. To find out what was going on, I had to play along. "No, it's fine," I nodded. "If you think it'll be good for us, we can try it." I entered something I didn't believe in, knowing I was losing her. She became thrilled and started talking about how we might set up dating app profiles together and how we should notify each other of upcoming dates, all of which she seemed to have already considered. I'm sitting there wondering, how long did she plan this? Rest of the night was odd. We watched TV as usual, but my mind raced. Sophie was cuddling with me on the couch, acting like everything was fine, like she hadn't just suggested changing our relationship. I kept wanting to return it and tell her I wasn't happy. I had no idea how. Every time I saw her browsing through her phone with a smile, I felt like I had made a big mistake. That night in bed, I couldn't sleep. Sophie lay cold next to me, serene, while I glanced at the ceiling, wondering what I had done. Part of me wanted to wake her awake and tell her I didn't want to share her. Some part of me was afraid. I was afraid she would do it or leave me if I said no. As I laid there, I reviewed our recent conversations to see if I missed any indications. Is she bored? Was I insufficient? Was someone else there? I had no responses to the inquiries that kept coming. Little did I know this was just the start of the chaos. Sophie asked me to assist pick photographs for her Tinder and Bumble profiles all evening, like a lover would. She asked me to take new photos of her. Yes, seriously. I took images of my girlfriend to make her look good to other males. I created my own profile to demonstrate my effort. My heart wasn't in it. Writing a bio felt awkward and false every time. What should I write looking for fun while dating? I felt awful all over. She probably knew I wouldn't meet anyone. I told her I'm not social and don't have time or energy to meet new people several times. Maybe she believed she could date and use me as backup. Sophie got matches fast. Her beauty and playfulness are obvious. I was most surprised by how quickly she met these guys. Within a week she had 3 dates. 3. She showed me their profiles like we were discussing celebrity obsessions. She shoved her phone in my face. Look at this one. He's a personal trainer at that fancy gym downtown. We're getting coffee tomorrow. I nodded, pretending this was usual. I felt queasy the first time she got dressed for a date. I had never seen her black clothing before. For this she bought new outfits. She did cosmetics for an hour. She twirled as she left our bedroom. "How do I look?" she exclaimed. I said great, knowing that dress probably cost more than she spends on our date nights. She returned home late that night laughing. I feigned to sleep when she went to bed, but I heard her texting for an hour. She hummed while preparing coffee the next morning and pretended everything was wonderful. I noticed her schedule. Monday involved coffee with the gym guy. Wednesday supper with a lawyer. A food truck owner, and I had drinks Friday. The range was intriguing. She always came home looking like she had the time of her life. I checked the Instagram locations she tagged. Not my proudest moment, but I needed to know the truth. I drove by the restaurant where she stated she was eating one night. She was at the bar with a tall suit-clad man cracking up. She held his arm and looked at him like she did at me. Distance between us. Her change at home was worse than seeing her with these guys. She spent less time with me, no more cuddling. She texted constantly. Sunday pancake ritual. She was meeting the girls for brunch. I once discussed it with her. "Don't you think you're going on a lot of dates?" I asked casually. She looked at me like a fool. "That's the whole point of an open relationship, isn't it? To meet new people and have experiences. You should try it too. I can help you with your profile if you want." But I didn't want profile aid. Please return my girlfriend. I wanted the person who used to love ordering pizza and watching lousy movies with me, not this new version who always dressed up and left. She was getting ready for date number 6 or 7 one night. I lost track. I couldn't stand it. I went on a walk to clear my brain and ended up at this picnic spot. I sat there for 2 hours contemplating how quickly everything had fallen apart. Sophie's messages buzzed my phone. "Hope you're okay, don't wait, have such a great time." She twisted the knife with each message. She tried to tell me about her date the next day, how hilarious he was and how he took her to this great new restaurant. Standing, I left the room. Following me, she seemed bewildered. "I thought you were okay with this," she asked, shocked. "Yeah, maybe I'm not," I answered. "But you could be dating too. You're choosing to stay home and be miserable." That's when I understood she didn't understand. She didn't get that I didn't want additional dates. I wanted her. Her old self. He liked our boring normal existence together. 3 weeks had passed since she started this open relationship thing. 3 weeks of watching her dress up for other guys and lying awake wondering where she was, what she was doing, and who she was with. My thoughts went crazy for 3 weeks. I assumed she'd understand how foolish she sounded. I kept waiting for her to wake up and realize how ridiculous this was and what she was throwing away. But she didn't. Without hesitation. Not guilty. She took pride in it. She moved around like she had discovered a higher level of dating that we were too foolish to understand. Worst part? I couldn't comprehend why. It seemed she liked me. Why burn it all down? Why say we didn't have enough? It finally clicked. This was unfixable, no return. The end was irreversible. For once I wasn't sure I cared. I was inspired by the thought of her living her life carefree while I was drowning in it. I wanted her to regret everything. Show her what she threw away. I had no plan yet. I knew I wouldn't suffer while she had fun. I didn't know what to do next, but I needed to chat. Someone who would realize how messed up this was. Emma started visiting more often. Emma, Sophie's best friend since college freshman year, was Emma. She came to movie nights, helped us move furniture, and brought soup when someone was sick. One of those genuine people, you know. Being a kindergarten teacher suits her because she makes everyone feel heard and important. I always saw her as Sophie's friend. Though pretty long brown hair, green eyes, constantly smiling, I put her in the buddy zone. In addition, she had dated Mark for 2 years. However, they split months ago. She first came over after Sophie started her open relationship to borrow mixing bowls for a birthday cake. Sophie went out with a new guy and Emma sensed something was up with me. "You look terrible," she stated directly. "What's going on?" Although I didn't intend to tell her everything, it happened. How Sophie announced open relationships to me. How she dated various males practically every night. I felt crazy witnessing it all. Emma sat listening. Truly listening, not just waiting for her to speak. She shook her head after I finished. Not an open relationship, she remarked. That's just Sophie doing whatever she wants without caring how it affects you. Something about hearing it from someone else made me less insane. After that, Emma visited more often, generally while Sophie was dating. Watching movies, ordering takeout, just hanging around. Talking to someone was nice. Someone who understood us and the situation. Confession: Emma appeared concerned one night after Sophie had been exploring for a month. I saw her fiddle with her jewelry when she was concerned. I need to tell you something, she whispered from across the couch. And it might make things weird, but I can't keep pretending. My stomach flipped strangely. Maybe I knew what was coming. I've had feelings for you for a long time, she replied, holding her hands. Like since before you and Sophie even got together. But you were with her and she's my best friend, so I never said anything. I started dating Mark hoping it would help me get over it, but she replied. It didn't work. I sat there trying to comprehend. Emma, kind, funny, lovely. Had affections for me. How could I miss that? She assisted me in Sophie's gift selection. Sophie, who was undecided about a meaningful relationship with me. Sophie seldom texted to check in, but Emma made me homemade chicken soup when I was unwell. Was I blind the whole time? You don't have to say anything, she said hurriedly. I just needed you to know. Watching Sophie treat you like this, seeing how much it's hurting you, it's been killing me. You deserve better than this. I regarded her. Really regarded her. Her eyes shone in that modest green sweater. Her hair was in an easy sloppy bun that made her seem prettier. I was puzzled how I hadn't noticed before. Still, Sophie's actions haunted me. She believed I'd wait like a devoted idiot while she walked around with multiple guys. Like I was a safety net. Available whenever she was bored. It was her biggest error. She was out there doing what she wanted, assuming I'd be there when she returned. Nah. For me, that chapter ended. I no longer followed her rules. My game was personal. I shot my shot. I breathed deeply, feeling that shift. The moment when I took charge. Emma, I said, surprised by my steady voice. She sat closer on the couch. I know this is complicated. I know I'm probably making everything worse by telling you this. But seeing you so unhappy these past few weeks. I just couldn't stay quiet anymore. She kissed me, leaning in, kissing me. Should have stopped. I should have considered, Sophie, our friendship and how complicated this would be. So I kissed her back. Not simply a kiss. We slept together. This was different. Emma noticed me. She liked me. She noticed my countenance shift. Inquired what I was thinking and cared. After resting in the dark, I processed it. This had gone far. How everything changed. Knowing I slept with my girlfriend's best friend. It should have felt like crossing a line. But all I could think about was how good that felt. This was no meaningless rebound. An impetuous mistake. She turned, raising herself on her elbow, looking at me. What are we going to do? She inquired quietly but steadily. Staring at the ceiling, I sighed. I should have replied. I should have felt guilt, conflict, etc. I only felt relief. After weeks of choking in Sophie's wreckage, I could breathe. I don't know, I said. Emma paused, then asked. I don't regret it. Do you? That insane thing? I didn't. Not even briefly. I saw things clearly for the first time since this open relationship tragedy began. Our demise wasn't my fault. I did not break trust. Maybe I deserve someone who wants me. Just me. Sophie's going to lose it when she finds out, remarked I. Probably, Emma said. But isn't it funny how she thinks it's perfectly fine for her to date other people, but the idea of you doing the same would drive her crazy. It was her point. And then I thought maybe Sophie should take her medicine. I didn't tell Sophie about Emma immediately. Part of me wanted to watch her reaction to hints first. Maybe that was petty. After seeing her show off with different guys for weeks, I thought she deserved to experience that. After Emma left, Sophie returned from staying at Jessica's place. Jessica was probably Jason, but whatever. She chatted about her girlfriend's night while pouring coffee. The first hint was dropped then. Oh, Emma stopped by last night, I casually said. We had a really good talk. Sophie's coffee pot grasp froze. Emma was here? Yeah, we hung out for a while. She's really easy to talk to, you know. Sophie dropped her coffee mug too hard, spilling some on the counter. What did you guys talk about? Just stuff, I shrugged. Life, relationships, feelings. It was nice. Her expression was priceless. Her next hour was spent contacting someone, likely trying to gain specifics from Emma while pretending to watch TV with me. She looked at me every few minutes trying to figure out what occurred. Over the next 3 days I mentioned Emma more. She was hilarious. Her genuine understanding. How we texted. Sophie would always have a tight look, like she was trying not to respond but couldn't. Sophie almost ran across the couch when I smiled at my phone while emailing Emma one morning. "Who are you texting?" she inquired, failing spectacularly at casualness. "Just Emma," I said. "She's really into this new show I recommended." Sophie tried to grin but seemed in anguish. "You guys have been talking a lot lately." "Yeah. She's great to talk to, really gets me, you know." Sophie started checking my phone when I left it sitting around. She thought she was sneaking, but I caught her browsing through my texts when I was in the bathroom or kitchen. The amusing part? I removed all Emma-related evidence. I left enough pleasant texts to make her suspicious and insane. Sophie began appearing at my known locations. I would mention getting coffee at this cafe near work and she would simply show up. Or she would arrive an hour after I said I was meeting friends at a bar, saying she was in the neighborhood. Best part? Self-date cancellations began. She suddenly came home more. "I want to watch movies. Cook dinner together." It was like witnessing someone mark their territory without acknowledging it. She came straight out with it after many attempts to get closer, which I always blocked. "Are you seeing someone else?" "Isn't that kind of the point of an open relationship?" I ask. "To see other people, yeah. But who is it? Is it Emma? Are you sleeping with Emma?" I only answered, "I thought we weren't supposed to share details about our other partners." "Isn't that what you said when I asked about your dates?" Sophie faltered. She looked at my Instagram followers, likes and online interactions. She obsessively read Emma's social media posts and stories. Emma's coffee shop selfie was the final blow. "Coffee establishment where I have my morning coffee." Sophie rang me immediately. "Are you with Emma right now?" "Sophie, I'm at work." "But you always get coffee at that place in the morning. Did you meet her there?" Let her panic, then said, "That coffee shop has like 1,000 customers every day. People can go to the same coffee shop without it meaning anything." Sophie wasn't convinced. She often asked where I was heading. The person I saw. What I did. She demanded to know my every move after weeks of arriving home late from dates and never telling me who she was with. Emma laughed at Sophie's behavior when I told her. We met discreetly at her house so Sophie wouldn't see us. I quickly lost my doubts about hooking up with her and felt justified. She really can't handle not being in control, can she? Emma asked one night while we sat on her couch. "Okay, nope," I said. "And the best part? She can't even complain about it without admitting she never actually wanted an open relationship. She just wanted permission to cheat." Sophie switched tactics. One night at home she dropped a bomb that changed everything. Closed relationship proposal. "I think we should close the relationship again." I saw Sophie sit on our couch appearing serious and anxious, telling me we should focus on us again. The same person who had been dating randomly for weeks was now sitting there acting like she was helping me. "I think we've explored enough," she murmured, taking my hand, pulling it away. "We could go back to how things were before. Just you and me." It made me laugh. "Just you and me? Like the past few weeks never happened?" "Well, yeah," she answered, confused by my response. "Isn't that what you wanted? You haven't seemed happy with the open relationship." "I quit playing games then." "You're right, I haven't been happy. Watching my girlfriend go on dates with a new guy every other night while barely acknowledging my existence. Her face did this odd thing because she wanted to look empathetic but failed. I know it was hard for you, but that's why I'm saying we should close things up again. We can work on ourselves." "Work on us," I repeated. "Like how you've been working on getting to know half the guys in this city." "That's not fair," she defended. "You agreed to the open relationship. You could have been dating too." "Oh, I have been," I responded, observing her look. "I've been seeing someone." Sophie paled. Really pale. "What? Who? Does it matter? Isn't that what you wanted? Both of us are exploring and having new experiences." She leapt from the couch. "Of course it matters. Who the hell is it? How long?" Her eyes expanded. "It's Emma, isn't it?" I sat and let her spiral. She ran her hands through her hair and paced our living room. "It is Emma, isn't it? That's why you've been talking about her so much. That's why she's been avoiding my calls. My best friend leaning back. Really funny how you're allowed to sleep with whoever you want, but the moment I do the same it's a problem. But it's Emma, she cried. She's my best friend. You can't sleep with my best friend. Standing, I looked her in the eye. Actually, I can. And I did. Sophie froze. She looked at me like she couldn't believe what she heard. What did you just say? I slept with Emma. Multiple times actually. And you know what? It was great. She actually cares about my feelings, which is more than I can say for you lately. Sophie's face turned from disbelief to wrath in 2 seconds. You're lying. Emma would never do that to me. Really? Because she did. Wanna know what else? She's had feelings for me for years. Even when she was dating Mark, she was thinking about me. You're lying to hurt me, Sophie remarked. I saw doubt in her eyes. I'm not. I witnessed realization. Remember last Thursday when you were out with that startup guy? Sophie nodded slowly. Emma came over. We talked for hours. Then we slept together. She sees me as a person, not just some backup plan waiting at home while you live your best life. Sophie took out her phone, likely to call Emma. Not believing you? Emma would never. Check your texts with her, I encouraged. Notice her recent distance? Unresponsive to your messages? For that reason. She looked through her phone anxiously, possibly seeing Emma's ignored messages and short replies in a new light. This can't be happening, she said. This isn't how this was supposed to go. Really? How should it go? You party with other guys while I stay home as the loyal boyfriend. Was it impossible that I would find someone else? Not Emma. No, Emma, she shouted. You knew it would hurt. Lost it then. Do you hurt? How much have you wounded me? Did you ever consider how it felt to watch you dress up for other guys, come home late smelling like someone else's fragrance and barely look at me? She protested. That was different. Those guys didn't mean anything. That improve it? While you had meaningless hookups, I developed serious affections for someone. I wanted to drop hints to make her feel the heat she gave me. Staring at me, she paused. Real feelings? Yeah. True sentiments. Emma and I go beyond physical. We chat, we chuckle, really care about each other. When was the last time we talked about something other than dating or new experiences? Sophie slumped defeated on the couch. What are you saying? Wanna be with Emma? This open relationship situation revealed my true desires. This person doesn't ignore me. Then she cried. Big dramatic sobs would have worked on me a month ago, but all I could think about was how she hadn't cried over how much she'd wounded me. She sobbed, we can fix this. We can go back to how things were. Shaking my head. We can't. Because now I know what it's like to be valued. I won't settle for less. Sophie did something unexpected then. She stormed out with her keys. I'm going to Emma's place to sort this out once and for all. Sophie slammed the door, so I grabbed my phone to tell Emma. I told her Sophie was coming and she said let her come. Emma's always been serene, nothing shakes her. I offered support by coming over. No, Emma responded, I must handle this. 10 years as my best friend. I owe her a lot. I spent the next hour pacing around our apartment, checking my phone every 2 minutes. It felt uncomfortable, like when a storm is coming and the air gets thick. Emma called finally, shakily. She came screaming, Emma said. My neighbors undoubtedly heard everything. She kept screaming about how I betrayed her, was a bad friend and planned this. You said what? He told her the truth. That I had feelings for you for years but never acted on them since she was my friend. Watching Mom treat you like garbage these last weeks made me realize she never deserved us. Our relationship wasn't intended, but I don't regret it. Sophie didn't like that. She tried to force into my apartment, stating she needed to see whether you were there. She accused me of hiding you when I blocked the door. She's completely lost it, Emma added. She listed all the random occasions we hung out to illustrate we'd been sneaking around for months. She even mentioned your couch moving help last year. Like when she was too busy working to help? Sophie seemed to think any encounter with Emma and I was evidence of an affair. Emma brought me soup when I had the flu, a cover for hooking up. Our group movie nights are just an opportunity to get close. She began crying, Emma said, like sliding down my doorframe crying. Claimed she never intended this. My neighbor checked on me, it was humiliating. After Mrs. Chen threatened to call the police over the disturbance, Sophie left. She told Emma she'd ruined everything and would never forgive her. Sophie returned to our house 20 minutes after my call with Emma. She looked awful. She entered and saw me sending Emma updates on my phone and lost it. Are you texting her now? Plan your next gathering? Since when have you two laughed at me behind my back? Sophie, no one's laughing at you. You harmed yourself. I did nothing. I suggested an open relationship to strengthen us, she cried, tossing her pocketbook across the room. I never told you to sleep with my best buddy. No, I said. You just wanted permission to sleep with whoever you wanted while keeping me as your backup plan. She grabbed our photos and gifts and put them in a box. I'm staying with Jessica. My true pal. Someone who wouldn't backstab me. Fine by me, I add. Take whatever you want. That paused her. Just that? Not even try to stop me? Would I? You've stated that you value something other than me or our relationship. She stopped packing and sat on the couch, visibly shrinking. I believed you would always be there. That no matter who I dated you'd be there when I settled down. The truth ultimately emerged. She experimented without me, but I was her backup plan and promised a happy ending. Well, you guessed wrong, I informed her. I'm not a puppy waiting by the door while you have fun. I have emotions. I deserve more than second place. But you weren't my second pick. I adore you. No, Sophie, you adore having me around when convenient. Differences exist. Her wailing resumed, but I didn't feel anything. Not wanting to soothe her, not guilty, nothing, emptiness. I'll get the rest of my stuff tomorrow, she said, taking up her box. I can't be here right now. After she departed, I called Emma. Just hearing her voice calmed me. That night we chatted about Sophie, ourselves, and the future for hours. Some of their mutual friends were already taking sides, with most dubbing Emma a backstabber without knowing the full tale. I don't care, she said. Think what you want. I know reality. In my half-empty apartment I noticed Sophie's stuff were gone. I was relieved. Like I could breathe again. I urged Emma, come over. Settle with me. Yes, she agreed. I was done caring. The next morning Sophie picked up her items. She brought Jessica and 2 other unfamiliar pals. Sophie had told them her story, so they looked at me like I was the bad person while helping her pack. I bought your Xbox for your birthday, she remarked, unplugging it. Fine. Take it. I didn't care anymore. Emma arrived halfway through packing after reading between the lines when I texted her about coffee. Sophie's pals whispered when Emma entered, but Emma ignored them and offered me my coffee. Really? You'll show me this, Sophie snapped. Emma remarked, nobody's flaunting anything. I'm just here to support my boyfriend. Neither of us had used the word before. Sophie appeared slapped. Packing got faster after that. Sophie's companions rushed around gathering belongings likely to get her out before another meltdown. After finishing, Sophie stood in the doorway. I really loved you, she whispered. No, I said. You liked having me on call. Differences exist. Emma helped tidy up after they departed. You okay? She questioned, watching me put Sophie's stuff in a donation box. Yeah. First time in months I am. 2 weeks later. Life has changed since then. Better. Emma and I are doing things right, but slowly. We had coffee at Sophie's favorite restaurant last weekend and saw other pals. Ignored us completely. Emma smiled and squeezed my hand. Sophie continues to tell everyone how I cheated. Emma betrayed her and we always desired each other. Some believe her. Important people don't. Emma brought over her kindergartner's artwork to decorate my fridge yesterday. Too empty, she said. I noticed something in those crayon drawings. This is my wish. Someone who notices details. Who cares about warming my place? Who brings coffee because I didn't answer her text? Instead, I graded Emma's class papers while we watched her new favorite mystery show. Simple, normal, real. Looking back, Sophie's open relationship suggestion was almost helpful because that wasn't a good idea. But because it revealed my ideal companion. Someone picks me first. Not just when convenient. The thing about life. The worst choices can lead to the best locations. For me, to the proper person. She was always there. Edit. Thanks Reddit for your support. Emma is reading this over my shoulder, chuckling at my description of her. She's constantly happy. By the way, she says hello. Thank you for watching. For more videos like this, remember to like and subscribe. Also remember to let us know your thoughts below in the comments.